In November of 2010, I left my hometown of Gibsons, British Columbia, Canada, and went to work as a volunteer in Kenya through CUSO VSO, a non-profit organization that sends volunteers to developing countries to share skills and knowledge with local organizations working to eradicate poverty. I spent 7 months in Kenya, and little did I know how much this trip would change my life. My name is Kasia, and this is my story of Kenya. I arrived in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, in a complete haze of jet lag, excitement, and also severe culture shock. Nairobi, with its dazzling array of pulsing chaos, is the heart of Kenya, where you see poverty and riches clash in a melting pot of extreme traffic, westernized fashion, expat high life, and destitute poverty. Out in Embu, Kenya, which is a more rural town where I was stationed to work as a documentation advisor with JPEGO, a non-profit organization focused on maternal and child care, is not as chaotic as Nairobi. Embu proved to be a beautiful town, full of warm people and abundant landscape. And it was here that I met the members of the Embu Youth AIDS Advocates, a community-based organization made up of young people. And they came to be my closest friends and teachers. My volunteer work placement allowed me to do some amazing things under a project called AFIA, which stands for AIDS Population Health Integrated Assistance. And some of those things were, for example, mainstreaming the inclusion of people living with disabilities, creating a gender integration tool to see how gender issues were being addressed within program activities, creating more opportunities for youth, and also initializing video documentation. But even though I was doing all these things within my placement and working within the office, I had a very deep desire to work within the community of Embu, the community that I was living and working in. My work with the Embu Youth AIDS Advocates, or AYA as they call themselves, began when Marcus, a young man that was working at the Scout Center that I was living in, introduced me to AYA's school program that they run for orphans and vulnerable children. They look after about 120 of these OVCs from the slums of Dallas, which is a very poor neighborhood in Embu. I immediately fell in love with these children. They were full of such love and curiosity. I began to visit the school regularly and interviewed the children's caregivers in their very own homes. I asked them what they needed to improve their living conditions. Some of these families couldn't even afford to provide more than 1 meal per day for their children. I learned that it didn't take much for these single mothers to start their own businesses. Even a sum of $50 to $80 could help most of these homes start an income-generating activity that would ensure a sustainable flow of income to them through their small businesses. The more I visited these homes and heard the people's stories, the more I knew that we could help these families on a large scale through small donations. Along with another fellow volunteer working with me named Luden from the US, we decided to set up a website and a donation link to AYA's organization right around the time we were helping AYA to also prepare for their annual Dream Out Loud concert, which is a festival to empower young people to believe in their dreams of changing Kenya's future for the better. The concert was a huge success, allowing young artists to showcase their talents and share positive messages of hope to the younger generation. We received donations during this time to Aya's organization, and as a result, were able to help 2 of the homes I frequently visited and did interviews with. We helped this one lady improve her tailoring business by purchasing a new sewing machine for her, as her previous one was broken. While she was taking care of 2 sons, it was evident that this was her only means of survival. She was so grateful to have received a machine that would allow her to run a sustainable business, and she thanked me by making me a beautiful African dress, which was evidence of her amazing seamstress abilities. Fatima was another elderly lady that we were able to help through the online donations that we received to Aya's website. She desperately needed a means of making income from her own home. We were able to build a produce stand outside her home and buy a large range of items for her to sell to begin her business. Fatima's story highlights how little money is needed to significantly improve a single caregiver's economic future. And with only $60, we were able to do this for this amazing and wonderful woman, full of hope and gratitude. While I was in Kenya, I had some friends working at a Polish radio station in Vancouver who really wanted to do something for the 120 orphans and vulnerable children that Aya supported. We decided to do a fundraising initiative that involved Radio X, Radio Nofa, and Radio Mix to talk on air about these children and the kinds of basic necessities that they needed. What resulted was an amazing international effort from the 3 radio stations, their listeners, and us in Kenya, which raised close to $2,000, and this all went to purchasing 120 pairs of shoes, school supplies, food for Aya's feeding program, and toys for all of the children. We distributed these items to them on June 1st, 2010, in a joyous celebration marking International Children's Day. It was a day of celebrating culture, connection, and compassion, of putting our love in action and working together for the greater good. As they say in Kenya, tuko pamoja, which means we are together across borders, across cultures, transcending boundaries, and being one global family. How do I describe the many lessons I've learned from the people of Kenya? How do I convey the amazing possibilities that open up when everyone contributes a little of their time or money to a worthwhile cause? It doesn't take that much to make a meaningful difference in the life of someone living thousands of miles away from you. We just need to open our hearts and take action. By donating, by volunteering, by supporting organizations like Aya, who work on the ground with the people that need the assistance the most, You are contributing to making this world a better place in significant ways. To the amazing people that touched my life in Kenya, asante sana and God bless you. Tuko pamoja. We are together.